talk about Rumspringa. So this is a term that's used within the Amish community and culture, but it's also, that's very common and very known, but it's also very misunderstood for good reason. If you've ever watched Breaking Amish, read Beverly Lewis books, you've heard Rumspringa and you think everybody has access to this. But I'm going to tell you right now, where I'm from, I grew up Swartz and Trooper Amish, the strictest form of Amish community that you can grow up in, and we were not allowed to do Rumspringa. So when I use the term I had to escape or run away, that some people get offended by that because they tell me like, hey, you could have just left during Rumspringa, but I couldn't because I didn't have Rumspringa. So when I left, I was not able to tell anybody that I was leaving. Otherwise, they would try to keep me there. And I'll tell you guys the story about exactly how I left at some point. But so Rumspringa is done in like Old Order or New Order Amish, where they are allowed to live at home and go get a regular, like modernized job, make their own money, drive a car. On the weekends, they dress in regular modern clothes. And then during the week, they'll dress Amish. And that's Rumspringa. So they'll go party and they'll go, to the movies and do all the things, but then still live at home with their parents. And they may do this for a few years. And some of them end up going back Amish after a few years of doing that and experiencing the world and being like, this world isn't for me. I don't want to do that. And a lot of them will actually eventually end up leaving. So where I'm from, that was not allowed at all. We kind of created our own sneakish kind of way of Rumspringa. It wasn't Rumspringa. It was literally just sneaking around doing things. So when I turned 16, at 16 and a half, we start dating. And it's not uncommon for kids at this age, if you were around some people that were being sneaky and doing things that they weren't supposed to get exposed to things and sneak around doing things. So the things that we would sneak around with, so we would sneak around with music. This was back when we had these little like headset players. Then eventually we got into cassette players. And then eventually we got into CD players, but we would have to hide in the barn, in the shop, in the attic, like all of those places to like listen to it. And then we would have to hide it in very strategic places so that like our parents or siblings that weren't into it wouldn't find it and then like get us in trouble. And then we also would sneak around with cameras, and we would family across the street had like 10 kids and they were around our age. So we would sneak over there and watch movies. And eventually, like, we would start smoking cigarettes, and we would also drink some alcohol. So there was a lot of things that we did sneaking around that in the Old Order and the New Order would technically be considered Rumspringa, but in our order, it was strictly prohibited, but we were rebels and we still did those things. Sometimes we would get caught with our stuff, and so then we would have to go destroy it. So if we got caught with any of those types of things like music or cameras or whatever, then our parents would make us like take that stuff and take it out to our burn pile and burn it. That was our punishment. And if we were in the age of dating for a few weeks, our punishment was that we were not allowed to participate in any of the dating activities. We weren't allowed to go on a date. They would like withhold that from us. That was our punishment. That being said, I remember right after I left, one of the most freeing things for me was to be able to turn on music and listen to music, because I love music, listen to music without feeling like I had to hide or watch for someone, because you always listen to it afraid that someone's gonna catch you. and then you were going to be in trouble. And that was one of the most freeing things for me after I left, to be able to do that. We were also not allowed to dance. And so for the longest time, I had to learn how it was okay to dance and move your body in a way that I had never moved my body before. So a lot of new experiences after leaving, realizing like there's not someone there that is looking for everything that you're doing wrong and looking to see if you're hiding something. Extremely free. So that is kind of Rumspringa. My community didn't have it. I'm from the Squirrels Trooper Amish. But one of the things that I want you guys to know is that I am forever grateful for the upbringing that I had, the experiences that I had, and what it taught me. Do I agree with everything? Was there trauma? Are there bad things that happen? 100%. But it also made me who I am. And I get to share and teach and educate people on a lot of things that most people don't have access to. So thank you for being here.